Welcome back, everybody. This is SkyGuy264, and today I'm gonna make you rich. Okay, maybe not rich. I am today gonna go over base selection. Basically, how you determine which bases you're going to raid, or for that matter, which bases you're gonna skip. In the end, this really determines how much gold you're gonna be able to earn and how quickly you're gonna be able to do it, along with how much additional experience you're going to be able to get for your heroes. So one thing I want to mention is, obviously these tips don't pertain to every single base. Not all of them anyway. And what I mean by that is, when you have certain heroes, things become easier. And you don't have to be as discriminatory towards which bases you're going to raid or not. Likewise, it doesn't make sense for every single level. So really, these tips that I'm giving right now are purely for my level, for these bases that I'm attempting to raid, and hopefully you can kind of piece together what you need to apply it towards your own situation. So I'm going to show a base and then talk about why we would either raid it or skip it. I want to try out this idea, see if you guys like it, and if you do, I can make more. But for at least this video, I'll try to keep it pretty short. So there's a couple key points that I want to hit on before we go through the bases. Really, we want to focus on bases that give us resources and experience easily so we can keep raiding. You know, we don't want a lot of downtime in between raids to wait for troops to come back, for heroes to regenerate. So we want to minimize our use of troops, and we want to not allow any of our heroes to die. We're going to look for bases that have groups of vaults, so groups of mana vaults, groups of gold vaults, all clumped together, because it makes it easier for us to raid. Also, we can look for vaults next to walls, so we can always use ranged troops to steal all the resources in that instance. Now, as far as defenses go, we want to make sure to either have opponents that have low-level heroes, low-level defensive buildings like towers, and low-level army camps and the troops within it. Another good thing to look out for is when they spread their towers and their army camps far apart, so you don't have those clumps of army camps. It makes it a lot more manageable for you to be able to cut through their troops. The last thing I want to point out is, if you're trying to save up honor, you've got to be pickier about which bases you want to attack, because you want to make sure that you're able to get them down to 50% so you don't lose honor. These are all just suggestions. Everything's situational, and you've just gotta you'll learn what works and what doesn't, and under what circumstances. So with that said, let's get started. So we're starting with an easy one. This is definitely a good base to raid. First off, the resources are all down the sides, right next to the walls. So even if you didn't have any powerful troops, if you just had some sort of a ranged troop, you could easily get at them and steal all of the major resources. Next, look at the levels of his heroes. I shouldn't say his, this person's heroes. They're all fairly low level. I mean, especially in regards to our troops. All of ours are at level 60, so we should be able to take out any one of them pretty easily. And they're all kind of widely dispersed. None of them are in a big group. You know, I might have second thoughts. Maybe not for this particular base, but in another base, if maybe they had higher level heroes, if they were all clumped together, I'm assuming that I would probably take some, take some damage from that. I might lose a couple heroes. Finally, the walls aren't very high level, and their towers are, they're not terribly condensed. So I know that my heroes will be able to take them all down. And the important part of that is that I'm not going to take any losses as a result, because you want to continually be raiding, always be getting new gold, more mana, more experience. So that's an easy pick, would definitely raid that one. Let's take a look at another base. So right off the bat, I know that I personally wouldn't raid this base. They've got a ton of archers, they're pretty condensed. While you can get through archers pretty quickly, it's just not worth the hassle in this case. I mean, while you're trying to chew through them, you're going to be getting hit by those two high-level towers that are close to the end of the walls. I mean, aside from even just the fact that it doesn't have a terribly ton of resources, this just wouldn't be worth the effort, and I'd quick skip this base. So here's another, and right off the bat, bam, look at all of that gold. I know I'm going to raid this one. Now for this particular base, I probably wouldn't just use my heroes. They've got 2 upgraded archer towers, and I know they'd be taking a ton of damage, especially with all those different upgraded walls. So it would be taking my guys time to get through the walls, and then it would take even longer to get through the tower, so I know I'd be taking a lot of damage. Luckily, I have upgraded griffins though, and I've got 37 of them. So that makes this decision a lot easier. I can throw in my heroes where they're going to do their most damage. I can chuck the griffins in to take out the 2 towers where I need them, and just soak up a ton of gold and mana. And at this point you can see I'm kind of hurting for it a little bit, so I have no problem raiding this base. Wow, look at all those guardians. Now, if you only have, say, archers or other guardians, this is probably not a good base for you to raid. However, we've got griffins, and griffins are not going to take any damage from any of those guardians. So really what we need to focus on is whether or not we can get our griffins to a point where they can just smoke through all those guardians without taking too much damage from, you know, the heroes that are there. And so I see what, executioner over there, I see an assassin. I'm really only worried about those 2. I mean, the other guys, you're not going to take much damage from them. So while in this video I don't want to go over specific drop strategy, I want to point it out in this one, because if I drop my heroes kind of over there near those gold vaults, what that's going to do is it's going to pull some of the aggro. Is it even called aggro in this game? I don't even know. A bunch of those guardians and those 2 heroes are going to come running over. And that's what you want. We're separating those troops out. So my heroes are going to sit there and they're going to keep probably hitting the wall. You know, maybe some of those guardians will actually get hit. But then I'll drop in all my griffins right behind them, which will then just quickly clear out every single one of those guardians that is now trying to attack probably my paladin. So after those are cleared out, then it's going to be super easy to get through, well, kill off both of those towers, the magic towers, get through that next section of wall, and then finally we'll probably pull a bunch more of those guardians and the 2 heroes. So it's splitting up the troops to make it easier for you to clear them out. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So again, I don't want to go into specific drop strategy for all these videos. I think maybe in the future I'll make a separate video for that specifically to kind of go into those things. But it's something to take note of and something to keep in mind when you're going through your base selection. Whew, look at this base. This is what I would call a nightmare. This would definitely be a quick skip, but let's go into why. So first off, he's got griffins, and he's got griffins on every corner of the base. So if you are going to be throwing any troops in there to try to get at maybe those mana vaults, what's going to happen is you're going to go down one way with some of your troops, and your other troops will probably go the other way, pulling both groups of griffins. So that sucks right off the bat. You're going to be taking troop loss. Now, while you're cleaning up those griffins, you're going to have those 2 upgraded towers pelting you the entire time. My guess would be that you'd also be pulling 2 heroes. In this case, it would be any of those heroes that are in there, right? No matter which side you're going from, you're probably going to get 2 of them pulled. You could attack from a corner and try to work your way in that way, which is definitely a viable strategy, but again, I shouldn't be talking about drop strategy yet. So in the end, this wouldn't be worth it to me. Even for the amount of races that are there, I would skip this one. And here is our final base, at least for this video. In this base, I would have raided this base, yeah. In fact, I know I raided this base, but I'm trying to go just based off of what I'm seeing. Here, our main problems are going to be the heroes. We got 3 on each side, and then obviously the troops surrounding them. I would plan on wiping out one side, getting through the resources, and then just ending the battle. Like, there's no need to 100% a base. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly go through some bases, show you guys what I thought. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like it so I know to make more of them in the future. Subscribe to stay up to date with all of my newest videos, and leave feedback in the comments so I can continue to improve my videos. Alright folks, this is SkyGuy 264, and until next time, Take care, everybody.